We have fryers too, so we have a lot of fried offerings, which
Well,
is
that is
yeah.
Did not
quite
see
the
that coming
angle.
from a sub shop.
Quite
Yeah.
the
that?
angle.
Is coming
That's
from
a big
Clearly, we did our
differentiator.
research.
Yeah.
Wes. I mean,
Yeah,
I
Spence
gotta make
and
sure.
Jake.
Spencer.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's
Yeah.
fair.
is that fair? Not gonna
Uh,
fight over that? Not gonna stand up for the first spot?
No, I'm happy with that.
I did put you
I'm the
first on
older
podcast,
older
though.
cousin, so
Good move.
We'll put
Oh.
me first.
All right.
Yeah.
So we're here with Spence and Jake from JRECK Subs. Is that pronounced correctly? I mean,
Yep.
Okay. How did the name
Surpri-
come about? Where did that come from?
Great question.
Coming to you, cuz.
You handle that one.
It's actually,
Take it away,
It's
cuz.
actually pretty cool. 5 school teachers founded it on the back of an old school bus, which is kind of our new logo, and the first letter of all their names spelled JRECK.
Oh,
So it's been around for how long?
1967.
Yeah,
know how to make a sub.
quite a while.
That's kind of mind-boggling. I mean, JRECK Subs, living around here my whole life, seems ubiquitous that you see it kind of a bit everywhere, at least for my take. But the 60s, I didn't feel like we went back that far. That's
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, that was the school bus location was that.
Okay.
So it took some time, I think, to get some stores in. All the original founders ended up opening their own stores, pretty much. Is kind of how the brand got started, which is a pretty cool story. I know. I feel like new people hear JRECK and they're like, the name like takes a little bit to get used to, but it's like once you kind of hear the founding story, it like kind of makes sense to people.
That's good. And it's a bit of a rebirth now, right? I mean, that's where you two step in. There's a new wave of JRECK Subs.
Yes. Yes, very much so. So over the past few years, we kind of looked at JRECKs and kind of strengths, weaknesses analysis. I should say, I underwent new ownership about 4 years ago. So Spence and I have been here about 3.5 years. We were kind of like the first 2 employees per se at the company. And in that time, I think the ownership group looked at the company and it's like, what do we do well? What like areas for improvement? And it's like name recognition, product quality, service. We're all like very strong. And then just the stores are a little outdated, the colors and things like that. So they decided to undergo a rebrand. We changed our logo to the school bus to honor the founding story. Been working on kind of digitalizing like our offerings, online ordering, delivery, a lot of that good stuff. Sure, Spence, what am I missing here?
Come on,
Yeah,
Spence.
so
Save his butt here.
yeah, I'll pop in. Yeah, so I was living in Boston, and obviously Jake and I are cousins. We'll throw that out there. And Jake is from Watertown, so super familiar with the brand. Me, not so much, but we had an opportunity with a mentor of ours who took over on the ownership team to get involved. So I took the leap with my fiance and moved up here from Boston and worked for corporate for a bit.
Okay.
And then I decided to spin off and I bought an existing store in Central Square, New York, and went off as a franchisee. And then I bought another existing store in Cicero, New York. And now this summer, I just opened a brand new one in Liverpool,
Wow.
New York. So up to 3 stores right now, and I got a 4th in the works.
Good for you. That's ambitious.
Yeah.
All right. So rewind a bit. Your cousin who you see every 3rd Thanksgiving says, you
Yep.
got to check this out in upstate New York, JRECK Subs. And you're like, I'm in from Boston?
Pretty much. I mean,
Does like the numbers
I've
work? Or like,
always- so I went to,
what sold you on that?
yeah, I've always,
That's a big move. That's a big change, right?
yeah.
He didn't have a lot of good prospects.
Come on, boys.
Wow. Going down the bench a little bit
Now,
here. Or
the
what?
same for you. Was everyone else in your family was in jail? So Spence is the only one left. You could pitch it to, or what?
Yeah, that's fairly accurate. Yeah, kind of. You take what you can get, kind of thing.
There you go.
Yeah, so I was in corporate America. Good job. I was
Yeah.
doing real estate and construction management, and I liked it, but I always wanted to own my own business. Entrepreneurship has always been the route I wanted to go. So when I met with the new ownership team that Jake mentioned, I really connected with their vision and their plans for growth. Really hit it off with them, so I decided to like make that jump and it's working out so far, but it's definitely a grind. But I'm
Yeah, well,
loving
it takes a special breed to do your own business and do your own thing. You got to be able to work hard when no one else is looking.
Yeah,
You got to work the hours other people maybe don't want to. But at the same time, there's a freedom there in knowing you control your own destiny. And
Reap
if there
what
is
you
something
sow.
important in your life, you don't have to ask someone if you can go. You can just go do it. And that's worth a lot. But big change of pace from Boston to around here, and a fiance, right? So it's an interesting part of time of
Yep.
your life. You got a lot
And-
of things going on.
Quite busy. We just had our first kid actually a month ago. Named
just
named
casually
him
throw that
Wes.
into the mix.
Yeah. Did you hear the name?
No, I didn't. I missed it. What was it?
Wes.
Oh, you're.
Love this kid
Yeah.
already.
I mean,
Yeah,
I
he's gonna be a
just
stud.
knew you guys were vibing from the get go here. That's just, oh man.
The worst part
So-
is after meeting me today, he's going to reconsider
Yeah,
that name.
it's like this is like that
Yeah.
school, like when you gotta go back to your history. It's like if I name it this, what do I? Was he an asshole?
Right,
know,
right.
it's
You can
like,
go through.
all
He
right.
didn't know any Wes's, but now that he knows me, he's going to go by the middle name probably after this.
Yeah.
All right.
So it's been fun bringing him into the stores and family business. It's been
that's great.
Yeah, it's been amazing. We're actually working on opening up. I'm working on opening a 4th location right now. So just kind of working through some headaches with the real estate part of it, but hoping to get that 4th store going this summer.
Wow. So you're really scaling up quickly.
Moving quick.
That's
It's
great.
definitely nerve-wracking, but it's been super rewarding. I think like for me, like getting involved in the communities that we're in too, like that's really rewarding. We do a lot of like fundraisers with the local schools and a lot of stuff like that. And then my teams are great too. A lot of great people that I work with. So it's been incredible.
Awesome.
To-
You know,
to
I don't
bring
know
the
if I'd have the courage to go from like 1 to 4 that quickly. So it must mean something's working, right? Or are you just
The numbers are looking pretty good
Or
so
just like,
far.
screw it? I'm just going to
yeah,
go
how
all
does
the way.
how does the economy of scale work with like that kind of individual? Like, is it like is that matter? Like, is that
Spencer's
where
your man. He's the expert now.
is that why it was like you saw like okay we're short here, but if you expand that order by whatever order in bulk or whatever the thing is, or like certain metrics, you're like okay we need at least 3 or 4 to make this make even more sense or give us a buffer. Or like how did that is that part of it?
Great question. Yeah, I think for me, once I get this 4th location opened, what I'm targeting is bringing on or probably promoting from within an area manager to help run the day-to-day operations. And I can take a step back and not take a step back, but focus more on growth and things we want to do in the community and that aspect of the business. So that's really on my radar over the next year.
And plus, in a couple of years, you
Yeah.
got to teach Wes how to skate, do a lot of things.
Yeah, he's going to be a hockey player. January birthday.
Oh,
Yeah.
that is huge, isn't it?
Yep.
January birthday. That is big time. So I've said on the show a few times, but my son Ted is into hockey now, and we were never hockey people, and now he's in. But if he's a January 17th birthday,
One
which
day
is
apart.
really cool. I didn't know
Yeah.
that was a big deal. We're just golf people, so we like to have our kids in the winter, just a little easier.
Yeah.
But it's odd how many kids in this team are born between January 2nd and January 10th and are named like Bauer and all these hockey names. I'm like, there's like a whole purpose to these kids before they're born. It's crazy. But what a wild sport to get into. But it's been a lot of fun.
It's the best.
And I must say, watching all these like, basketball and baseball and soccer, all these sports are a little tough to watch when they're little. Baseball, especially, is just like,
It's not great.
it's terrible.
It's,
But
it could be better.
Too
hockey is
slow.
really fun
Yeah,
to watch
yeah.
when they're like 7 and 8 and playing mites. It's very entertaining. And in fact, from right here, we got a game. Good old New Hartford.
Little
But,
New Hartford.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, my kid is I have a 2 and 4 year old, almost 3 and 5, and watching the schedule though of hockey, and I remember I played hockey back in the day, and you guys said you played hockey
Yep.
too. Yeah, it's like I remember the hockey schedules back in the day, and you're just like, okay, where city are we in now? I think you're missing Teddy's missing Fridays at school basically because
Fridays are optional for school, I guess, if you play hockey. I just learned that this year. Like
But-
other sports don't have that courage or audacity to be like, yeah, you got a hockey tournament. He's not going.
So
Like, how do we have a game at 10 o'clock in the morning on a Friday?
I know, no.
What?
It's a
Um,
lot for the parents. I mean, I got to give a shout out to my parents here too. I
Good.
mean, they
Yeah.
getting to the rinks
Yeah.
and to traveling. It's definitely a lot on the parents, but it's the best sport in my opinion, hands down.
It is pretty fun.
So you jumping right in with it. Multiple friends. The thing that surprised me is like, let's go bring family into it. If us that have grown up with family businesses, and I'm a sixth gener, and he and his father have done work in the past. Is like family always seems to be that extra thing that can be like, is this gonna work or is this gonna be horribly bad? So you guys obviously, was it a good relationship? What was your relationship being cousins and like that kind of thing? Like you just knew this was the right person to go after.
Yeah, so we've been, best friends our whole lives too. I should add, we went to
Okay.
college together at the University of Miami.
That helps a little bit.
That does help.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
won't tell.
Florida
get
or
into any,
Ohio?
Should we get
Florida.
into some
Nice.
like college Miami stories with Jake? Or
I mean, we're definitely gonna have to.
I think we
might-
should leave that out of the
I think
business podcast.
at least one cocktail and a sub. We can,
Another
we can-
round
yeah,
after
maybe
after
we might
hours.
Come back in the
Uh,
family.
But yeah, so I think like growing up and stuff, we always kind of like talked about like, business stuff, probably like a lot of kids do. We're always interested in that. And then this came up and he's a franchisee. I'm on the corporate team. But I mean, as far as business relationship, I mean, from my perspective, couldn't be better. I don't know. Spence might feel way differently, but I think just a lot of trust over the years gets built up. So it's I think like I always hear like in family businesses when it works, it's like way good, like very good, and when it doesn't work, it's like way worse. So we're
Just tough to get
definitely-
away from it. Things go bad.
Yes,
You
yeah.
still got to
Yeah, exactly.
face the
But,
music. But
yeah, it's nice because it's just so much trust there that
Mhm.
it's not like kind of know how each other thinks, what we're doing, so it's just naturally works.
that's great. I mean, I've had great success with my family and my father especially. But of course, it's not perfect all the time. But it certainly has been a great experience. So it's not all bad. You
No,
know,
absolutely,
You hear all these
absolutely.
horror stories and stuff, but it can be great too. That's
Well, and
good.
generational, it's going to be up to your kids, right? Third generation is the problem. So
Yeah, they'll screw it up.
yeah, they're definitely,
I'm
and
pretty sure.
Well, that's what I told you. I'm coming up on sixth generation. I think it's the question mark of whether it comes back around. Factor of threes. It's like, okay,
You're right.
third generation didn't screw up. Maybe sixth will. So
They say
I
always
haven't done
the
it yet.
third.
Yeah,
That's
that's what I'm
impressive.
saying. That's
Yeah,
why I'm like,
Yeah, first starts, the second expands, and the third one runs into
Sixth
the ground.
generation. That's incredible.
Yeah, so you're back to the
1864 was when my family took over the newspaper. So we've been in this thing a long time. Yeah, I haven't. Well, I've come close, but I haven't screwed it up yet. So
Are your
we'll see.
kids?
Keep trying.
How old are
2
they?
and
They-
4?
Oh yeah, you said.
Yeah,
that,
they'll
sorry.
be no. It's all right. I will probably tell them to run. My father told me to run, and I'm like, nah. Yeah, maybe should have, but no. I've enjoyed. I'm a huge community guy. You just being part of it, whether you're a restaurant owner or in media, like it's just being homely and just understanding what's going on in the community and see what you can do and build the relationships and stuff like that. So, Dreck's coming this way. Like, what's the plan? Like,
Yeah,
what
cool.
would-
I
Yeah.
do
Good
wanna
question.
add,
We got Syracuse. Are we marching east?
I
wanna take
talked
that?
about the rebrand earlier and just with
Yeah.
the community stuff before and I'll answer that in a sec.
Yeah, we gotta get on the mics.
Yeah, so it's like I'm from Watertown, so that's like JRECK's, hub or whatever.
Mhm.
And like growing up, got home from college, like first thing we do is go get a JRECK sub. It was always kind of involved in like the little leagues and stuff like that. So we're really trying to capture that and expand it, if that makes sense. So it's like you say, community involvement with your business, like
Mhm.
that's very much like, which I just think is a differentiator. Like when you think of like Jersey Mike, Subway, like they're really not a community sub shop.
Corporate field more.
Yeah, which like as we grow, we're trying to like really keep that because that's kind of what's made us successful so far. In terms of what's next in expansion plans, we've kind of spent the last 3 years setting like a foundation per se. Our director of marketing here, who joined us about a year ago. We have accounting manager, 2 operations people, procurement, all that.
Mhm.
So we've kind of done that work over the past 3 years, and now we're starting to grow regionally. So we have a location in Plattsburgh, New York, that's going to be opening this spring. Looking at a few others regionally, probably can't say yet publicly.
Tell them
I
about
can, put up a
Rome.
stand,
I think
I can put up a standby screen, but
they
Uh,
want to hear about Rome. When
Yeah,
are you
yeah.
getting
No,
there?
we were looking at a property in Rome to potentially do one, and looking to maybe find a franchisee in the area. It's always ideal, like when we go to an area and Drex has been there, just because there's a built-in customer base. People know Direct, people like Direct, so it's just a
Sure.
much easier fight for us, if
Sure.
that makes sense. We're kind of looking at like the Rome's, Cortland's, Oswego, New York, towns like that right now.
Any interest from you guys? I know you guys have a lot of business
Well,
going
you
on.
caught me
around
at the
here.
right time.
He's
Yeah.
bored. He is bored.
You know.
No.
You always want to buy a new car in a snowstorm in February when they're sick of brushing them off. And this is a good time to pitch me an idea because I'm getting kind of bored.
Yeah.
I'm an easy target right now. I have a question that's very minute and probably boring for people listening, but I think it's a good one for both of you. Own or lease your buildings, your properties for both corporate stores and franchisees? Like, what do you prefer? What are you guys into?
I'm gonna start on that one.
Or is it up to the franchisee or?
It is up to the franchisee.
Yeah, it's up to the franchisee. I think there's pros and cons to each. I own all of the buildings that I'm in, and I'm really not interested in a lease.
I love it.
Actually,
I knew I liked Spence.
Yeah,
I
one of
can
the
just tell.
buildings
Just hit it off.
is
boy.
strip plaza, which is great too. So we're in the end cap, and then we have 5 other tenants, and then the other 2 stores are standalone buildings, which Jake and I talk about this a lot. I think the standalones have the ability to perform a little better, but I think there's room. It depends on the market and what kind of traffic there is, whether we want to go target, say, a strip mall versus standalone.
Mhm.
But to answer your question, yeah, I'm only interested in
You're a real
doing-
estate guy.
Yep.
Background.
That's a big part of the business.
Is that how most of them are lined up? Or
It
is it
is
a mix and match,
very old
probably?
brand, so a lot of our owners have been there for a while,
Mhm.
so they do own their real estate. It's and we talk a little bit about we have like a traditional direct model, which is kind of like a standalone building. Typically, like the person would buy it, and then we're kind of like looking to develop a JRECK Express, like per se, which is a smaller square footage, something like that. Because obviously, depending on the market, the real estate costs, just the ability of a franchisee capital wise, it just depends.
That's a good idea. The expresses, because I mean, if you notice, I'm sure you do. You're in the game, but all the new builds for the Taco Bells and all the fast food, like their square footage, like for actually eating in, just shrinks and shrinks. There's about a table and a half left to the new builds of like Taco Bell and all those. It's really, they want you in and out, and it's probably 90% to go.
Well, that's what Starbucks did in New York City. If you go to the ones, you can't even sit down. It's like almost like a drive-through walk-through. It's not even obviously not a drive-through in New York City, but you literally walk in, and there's only one more door to walk out. You can't sit down. Like it's literally just the storefront.
Is that kind of the way it's going?
I feel like that's
We're leaning into that trend as well. I think the store I just opened in August, it's about 1,600 square feet, so pretty tight footprint, and I
Mhm.
think that really works with our model. The property, I'm working the deal for the 4th location. We're actually going to knock that building down and go ground up.
Oh, man, nice.
wow.
And
Committed.
keep it tight. I think we're going to go around like 1,600 square feet for that. And we're looking to innovate on a pickup window for that location, which will be interesting. So we can just really,
yeah.
you know,
Yeah. How
speed
does
of
subs
service.
work for drive-through? Is it a thing?
So we're figuring it out. There's definitely a lot of considerations that go into it on the front end,
Right.
as far as how we want our equipment laid out, and our tech stack that can, alert us when customers are pulling in. So that's kind of a work in progress, but we're hoping to get that rolled out with this next location we're opening up.
a little bit of a geofence.
Yeah,
A share
the
location
geofencing.
it comes inside the geofence of the property. Notification being ready to go. Cool.
Yeah, I don't think we really have to reinvent the wheel too.
No.
There's some people. I mean, like you look at Chipotlanes, they're doing a great job with it. So we're kind of gonna lean into that and drive more customer count, quicker speed of service
Sure.
with the pickup window.
That's great. I
Yeah,
was going to ask you, is DoorDash, Grubhub, all those delivery services, like that's all you see everywhere. If you go anywhere, it seems like that's what they're pushing, whether an internal system or mostly external. But from Applebee's seemingly wants to become McDonald's more and less sit-in and more curb to go. They're pushing that. What do you think about the delivery systems and how they can, I mean, do you utilize them? Do you
yeah.
see that
So I use DoorDash. I have an exclusive agreement with DoorDash, so I'm not on Uber Eats, but I really like it. The fees are pretty outrageous. They take like 25% of each transaction. So unfortunately, just the nature of that, we have to mark up our prices on there. But I think the customers know they're paying for that convenience.
Yeah,
and
they understand that, right? I mean,
we're having a lot of success with that. I actually just rolled that out maybe 6 months ago, so pretty late to the game on delivery, but
so far so good.
So far so good. It's cranking.
That's great.
Yeah, it represents somewhere around like 12% of our sales that the stores have rolled it out.
Yeah.
Which I don't know how that's like an incredible amount. Like if you think, because we weren't getting it before, it's just additional sales. So it's been a huge success for us.
That's great.
What's like the ideal franchisee? Like who do you know, like, or vetting, or like who do you try to target? How do you advertise that? Who do you know? Is it more B2B stuff, trying to find somebody who's already in business? Is it trying to find that person to like what? Who would be the person that would help carry it from Rome or Utica, or like how do you target? Or how
I think
do
you try to
vet?
find a cousin.
That's
Oh,
amazing. Yeah,
family
man.
relative.
Family, yeah.
Do I fit the profile, man? Like, what's-
yeah, barely.
Sounds like you do now. You
well,
have about
we'll let
42
the
stores in
corporate-
about a week.
Yeah.
yeah.
But like, is that like do you look for local, like, I mean, how many hands, obviously having a kid, that changes like the idea and who and how fast you want to grow. But going across the country, do you find a starter over there to go the other way? Like how does the expansion work in that sense, and finding people to like carry on or move on?
Yeah, I think there's stages to it, and we talk about this all the time. So kind of who we're looking for today, someone local in the community, wants to be involved in the community, wants to support the schools. We always say like good people is kind of, and we like rank the qualities, not rank, but like put them on a whiteboard or something. It's like good people would be like the number one. And then restaurant experience, not required, but like recommended kind of. It doesn't seem maybe that hard to run a sub shop, but it's very hard.
Yeah.
And if you don't have restaurant experience, it's a whole nother like training process for you and all that. Management leadership experience would be another thing we kind of look for. I think anything
Sounds
else
like-
really stick out?
How expensive?
I mean, I will say, like, I didn't have any restaurant experience coming into this, so you can definitely learn it. So I think,
Well, that's good
people who are,
good testimonial.
yeah, so I'll just throw that in there. But I think,
It's probably helpful, but not mandatory by any
Yeah.
stretch, right?
yeah, you
That's-
want grit for sure
Yeah.
in the restaurant biz. Again, Jake's the VP of development, so I feel like I'm popping in on his question here, but
No, not at all.
definitely grit, and I think the entrepreneurial spirit is,
Yeah,
is key.
entrepreneurial. Yeah. Ability to solve problems, good with people, things like that. Some basic financial like acumen is good too, to like chart of accounts, know how to read a financial statement. And I should add, like, these are all trainable. Like, it's not, if we find the right person, they don't have XYZ. Like, our job as the franchisor is to provide training. And there's like, we kind of do like individualized training. So like if this person's background's in restaurants, like they don't need to learn about like the safety, of health of the kitchen and all that. So that's kind of how we look at it.
Yeah, I guess another thing I'd throw in from the franchisee perspective too is, as a business owner, it's great to have in the franchise model that corporate support, that corporate layer of support. So we have our, marketing team here. They do a killer job, and you have some of those support functions to help you out in those areas, which,
That's
it's
gotta be very
worth.
helpful. They've seen it all.
I wish the
probably, and you could ask them
royalties and
questions.
marketing fees were a little bit lower, but no, I'm kidding.
Wait,
They're,
can you say a
they're
little
very
louder
fair.
in the mic?
They're very fair. Definitely
good.
worth it. So
I think it is a good.
Yeah.
I know he knows more about food and beverage than I do, but seems like a safer entry level in the
Oh,
food and beverage
absolutely.
with having
Yeah.
a structure. A model that works. It's a brand name. You have marketing that knows it works. Because that's probably some of the toughest thing about starting something is just what's your brand? How are you going to get it out there? And even just the financials. Like all right, this much meat goes on there. You can work out the numbers. And I almost think that's almost where you, I guess. I was trying to think of whether it's better to have a business person or a foodie, because it's like a lot of it's taking care of you on both ends. But like what would weigh more than the
Well,
other?
they can probably see if you're having issues.
what
on
the
your
issue-
spreadsheet or what it is before you even realize
Identifying,
because they've
like,
seen it
yeah.
all and they've already done this.
Right,
And when
right.
you're starting your own by yourself, you got to figure that out by yourself, and that's
Yeah.
the value built in right there.
Yeah.
So I'm really pitching it for you here.
No,
Yeah, I
that was,
think
that
with
was great. Yeah.
with the franchise model too, like you get, food cost, for example, is key to your bottom line, and you get there's a lot of purchasing power, and so
Mhm.
you have a leg up
That's a good
from
point.
someone who's gonna go out on their own. I listened to the podcast with the Crust guys. Those guys
Mhm.
were real cool. I enjoyed that. Definitely want to.
Chris and
I'm gonna-
Frank, they're
yeah.
they're good guys.
I'm gonna go. We're gonna check that out.
Oh, cool.
Hopefully while we're here. So
Nice.
that was a good
Yeah.
good pod.
Did you catch the first one or the second one? First one was probably more crust, and the second one went off the rails in some
Yeah, I'll
space.
say this
Yeah.
podcast has been so on point.
I mean,
we're ruining a reputation
We
right
really
now.
are. This is way too structured. We're
Too
somehow.
structured. Maybe
No, yeah,
pour another
we're-
whiskey here.
No,
Yeah.
yeah,
we
we'll have to
better
work
start
on that.
sipping a little quicker.
No, Crust
More
great guys,
quickly.
and it's a cool model that started during COVID and figured it out, and this, I think, it is the good. It's just fun to hear the back end of food and beverage. 'Cause it still terrifies me, but whatever.
There are
I don't know.
success stories.
There are
For
success stories. Yeah,
me-
exactly.
What I've found, again, I'm pretty new. I'm 2.5 years in, but the hiring and the store culture is really the foundation. So you get
Hmm.
the right.
There's a theme.
Yeah, it's the theme. I think the Crust guys were riffing on that as well.
Mhm.
That's really the key, having the right people in the store, because they're going to go out, delight the customers, and also bring in other good people through word of mouth, bring in their friends. Like I have a lot of family, brothers and sisters working at the stores. I had a grandmother and her granddaughter. So it's, that's really where the magic happens. And shout out to my teams too. They're a lot of great people.
Nice.
So,
Yeah. Having that culture in there, having
Yeah.
them buy into it, happy to be there really helps no matter what business it is. But anything where you got, crowd facing people,
They're the first line of management,
It is.
really.
Yeah,
I mean, even
that's-
like with the CSRs, like you just
Yeah.
want it. Like they're so valuable, and the turnover alone is plenty enough to want to pay
Killer.
them well and like do it well.
right?
And, like,
Because you don't want to go through.
you don't want to go through it again and again and again. And then, even customers, even at the food level, it's nice walking in and knowing somebody. They know your order. It's like, whether you're going in, it just kind of, that all matters just a little bit more. It's like, hey, you want the same thing today? Like, that's just like a cool vibe that just, it's small, but it can mean a lot to somebody.
Yeah, knowing the regulars, that's
Big.
That's big.
Yeah.
That's key.
Spence takes a lot of pride.
I
in
take
that.
a lot of pride in that at all the stores. Like I love it, just cutting it up with people coming in every day, having a quick conversation. I love that part of the job.
So what is your day to day now that you have a few stores? Are you just bouncing around them all, or do you pick Mondays for this store and Tuesdays for this store? What have you come up with?
The day to day is all over the place.
Okay.
So it's really
Probably
really
starts with the
depends.
plan, then
But I
goes out the
mean,
window?
just to
Yeah.
give you an example, the other day we've been getting pounded with snow this winter. So
Everyone's
last
comfortable
week
doing
I was
that.
up on one of the roofs until like 4 a.m. shoveling the roof. Just getting that done, and then
At least that's what you told your fiance.
oh man, oh man,
no!
Oh, no.
Oh,
All right, edit
no.
that out,
Yeah,
Brad.
I'll cut that. I'll
Cut
cut
that.
it.
We busted him already.
So I was shoveling the roof till 4 a.m., making sure that didn't cave in. Then I went home and I was up in 2 hours and going to a meeting with my local bankers, and then the next morning, and then was on the sub line making some subs. And I try to float between all the stores, make sure the team's doing well, fill in the gaps where I need to. Really, that's one part I love about the business. It's wearing a lot of different hats.
Right.
So
You're kind of the wild
looking
card,
at,
man. Yeah.
I love looking at new deals, new real estate deals, like reviewing my numbers at the end of the month, but also like getting to rally my team and build a great store culture. So there's just so many like fun aspects to it.
I agree. So my kind of main gig is a golf course, and so it's probably not the best return on my time investment I do like sneaking out and mowing fairways once in a while. I think it's kind of therapeutic. It's fun just to shake it up. It's not a bad thing for people to see you out there working on the crew for a few hours, just like if they saw you on the sandwich line, you know. It's not a bad thing to be seen there too. But it's good just to shake it up and feel all parts of the company and experience all those positions. So good on you there, Spence.
Yep.
So here's well, maybe lead into a question, but back to hockey. I am on a hockey weekend tournament with my son, Ted, and we find ourselves in Malone, New York. And never been to Malone. Drive in. I don't know how I got there. Thank God for GPS, because I feel like I took about 7 right-hand turns getting there.
It doesn't feel, yeah, it feels
But I
you're
feel like I
really-
got
the,
there
the
eventually.
mountains just throw you off.
And then it gets flat all of a sudden up there. So I pull into Malone, and the main intersection of like the main street and the road I come in on, right on that corner, the JRECK Subs. Could be like the hottest corner in Malone is
If
home
there's a
to
hot corner,
is
that is
home
it.
to JRECK Subs. Has that store been there forever? Is that one of the OGs or?
It's been there since the 80s at least. That is
I just thought it was a great piece of property for
yeah.
anything, let alone JRECK Subs. Like, man, someone knew what they were doing when they bought this thing.
Yeah, that's our number one store
Is it?
in the chain. Yeah. The manager there, her name is Claudette.
Wait. No.
Yeah, I mean, this
Whoa,
what a
whoa,
dig.
whoa.
Like,
Wow.
Wow.
I mean,
come on, man.
Man, we weren't going to go into ranking, but
Yeah.
clearly we are.
Jeez, where do I fall on
that's
that
our
list,
best-
man?
I don't know. You're probably top 20.
Oh,
on how,
no,
what's,
but
on
that-
how many
that's
stores?
22?
What was this? Yeah,
There's 23.
23. Yeah, there it is. Had to land.
But yeah, our manager Claudette there is amazing. She's been there for like 20 years. That store does incredible.
Oh, great.
It's really, we look at that store actually a lot as like a model at corporate of like procedures we want to copy and the way they train their staff and all that. It was kind of funny you brought that up.
Well, I think it also has something to do with real estate. Whoever picked out
Definitely the right site.
is
Good parking lot.
amazing.
Yeah.
Just like because it's no secret Walmart's build their big super centers on the outskirts of town where the one intersection comes into the main street. So in Rome, we have one in West Rome, right where 46 and 49 come into 69. Like that's perfect. And that's exactly where the JRECK Subs is in Malone. It's right on that corner when you're coming into town. Like that is the corner. That might have something to do with it. Although, what's her name?
Claudette.
Claudette. Oh, that sounds fun. That's fun
Yeah.
to say. Does a great job, I'm sure.
She is a rock star. Yes. Shout out Claudette.
Claudette.
yeah. No, you mentioned picking the right real estate is crucial up front.
And that's kind of
So-
your
yeah.
background, which is fun for you, right?
Yeah, it's definitely been helpful having that background going in and being able to pro forma out and make the right deals. Every deal has its own complications, as you guys know. In real estate, I'm working on a tricky one right now.
Me too.
There's encroachment.
We don't have
but
time for all your.
We won't get too into that, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
But looking at it, so obviously Utica Rome established. Well, I mean, like as you look into a possible location, are you looking at, because we know the growth that's happening here? Are you looking for established territories with traffic, or do you kind of want, like, because there's an opportunity to be, the business park where it's connected to Utica as well. So I mean, 17 minutes between our Rome office and our Utica office. A lot of people go in and out of 825 here. We have manufacturing coming online in the triangle over here, but it's getting there. It's not there yet. So, I'm just trying to think of, like, do you guys know about that? Like, do you know, like, the growth and like how deep is your research as you maybe, I think I saw in my notes, they're looking for a Utica Rome area and you mentioned that, but like what moving into an area like this, since we know it well, is like maybe top priorities or some of the things you're looking at this specific, because I know it varies city to city, but what's the plan here?
I think we'll pass that one to Jake because I think for me it's a little different. I want to keep my stores I'm in Syracuse, so I want tight geographies so I can have those synergies between my stores. So I'm really focused there.
Okay.
I think you could riff on that.
Yeah. In terms of like knowledge of the Utica area, like not that much other than like a couple trips through. There's like downtown with the hospital kind of.
Mhm.
So still trying to spend more time in Rome looking. Just, a little closer to Syracuse kind of on the way out as a first step. But I think like in general, direct locations, typically we're like kind of across the street from a high school or down the street, not on like necessarily the main drag.
Mhm.
It's like the community sub shop. which is kind of like a unique thing, which is kind of nice because the real estate's cheaper, to be honest. And it's like there's not as much competition tends to be in those areas. Not we do have locations on the main street and they do well, but I think in general we're more like next to the high school type spot, if that makes sense.
What would you guys recommend as far as like
knew they
where
were
to
gonna
put a
turn around.
location here? I mean, you guys are the experts, so
We are. I don't know for
Yeah,
the,
where are you going to put your JRECK location?
yeah.
my
yeah.
direct location. Well, I'm gonna have a few of them. I feel like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
Well-
so you're gonna stick in Syracuse. So anything?
I'm
an-
sticking in Cuse.
A new
I'm just
venture out
curious.
here would be
That would be Jake's department.
Jake's department. Got
Yeah.
it. Well, Brad, you got a couple spots?
Yeah, I mean, well, boulevards is the
Mhm.
is the obvious just ho hum answer because we're he bought a property up on Erie Boulevard, heading north out of Rome that way, for that traffic. I mean, there is good amount of traffic, but because our high school doesn't walk as much, like
Nope.
that's not like old RFA, new RFA.
I don't know
Not
if there's
great.
one walker.
I don't think you can walk
can.
in there anywhere.
No, it's all.
So that kind of takes it out.
That's
However, I think there is a need for food in general in that sense. On not a ton of lunch spots on this side that are
Or-
quick.
yeah.
I think quick is key there. You
Yeah.
know, and I think
Well,
restaurants are, because a lot of the people here, you got to get down and back 45 minutes. We have 7,000 employees on this business park alone. They all make 95,000 plus on this road, and you have 3 restaurants that are just right kind of here. El Horacho, Crust, Espresso.
El
Horacho.
Fun to say too.
That's a fun one. So I mean, this had a fun name to the business park. So like this side of town has that advantage. If I was to say anything, I would say Black River Boulevard this way. They kind of
Yeah, it
along
could
that.
be on either boulevard or on the park. Those are
Yeah.
your three options.
Yeah, I would give those would be for sure.
I wouldn't be courageous enough to go off the main drag here.
Yeah. Unless if you have an experience, okay, I think you can get away with a little bit off the beaten track, or like if you're like a brewery with a cool vibe, or that's going to be like a hangout, like people are going to go there for that. But I think if you're looking for like the lunch crowd, like I think you got to be Erie, Black River, or 825 here to be at least start.
This
Yeah.
is great intel
Very
here.
cool.
We'll have to take a cruise around.
Yeah, and
After-
if you look,
We might have to black this part out because we're giving away all the trade secrets to everyone. We might have
No,
to.
I know.
Another
Get the
cut?
commission. Yeah,
Blur
another cut.
everything
I
out.
like that. Another cut. We have the shortcuts.
Some free
We can come up with
stuff.
something.
Yeah.
But if you look at
Bring
I mean,
another
You
platter.
got to be a subscriber for this
Well,
part.
like so for example, like the national chains aren't dumb. When they make a move, they've already done their research. They already know the traffic pattern. So when I saw that Starbucks was interested on Black River Boulevard, I was like, okay, like that's kind of like a good sign that you're heading in the right direction,
You get some
right? Because they're not
traffic
going to
count.
create a
Yeah.
new franchise in a place that's not going anywhere, or in a spot that's not going to create traffic, right? So, what? Oh yeah, and I mean,
we should have a halftime anyway.
halftime. I
Oh, we
get
got a
light.
pause.
Yeah, no. Well, I mean,
Yeah, let's take a quick
Refill these glasses.
2-second pause, and then we'll jump into this. Have you ever ventured to the famous Rome Country Club?
No, but I'm dying to.
Well, we're gonna have to fix that.
we can make that happen.
Yeah,
Yeah.
would love to come. We're recording, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we're in.
I mean, we're always
Just
on.
checking, just checking.
We're always on.
So what everyone missed was that we just ate a bunch of Dreck subs here. And what do you think, Bradley? Did you enjoy
I'm
it?
going back. This is my second. It doesn't look like I had anything, but this is my second. You know
Oh,
me, I'm
back in.
just going in for it. You know, they got the pep. I appreciate the effort on the side.
The
The,
sides.
the condiment. I'm a condiment guy, so I'm happy.
I think Wes skipped the pepper relish there. That's
Ah,
the best part.
He can't
you
handle it.
caught me.
Can't handle it.
I don't know.
It's great.
I'm
That's
not very adventurous when it comes to food, I feel like, but I'm trying to get better as I grow up. You know,
Alright,
when
so-
I'm a real grown up, I'll be able to try it.
I have a real question. I'm going to say while I'm eating here.
You're looking at me, who's this for?
How do you determine what is the right amount of meat to go on the sub? Because, hold on. Got some great noises going through the mic right now. Because you have like someone who's Brooklyn Pickle that will hammer you with meat, but it gotta take a hit on margin there.
Mhm.
Some of them a little light.
Mm-hmm.
How are you guys like what? is it the balance of number and taste? Are you like, there's got to be some sacrifice somewhere, but I feel like you can't always make the perfect sandwich, because if you do, it's gonna be like a $15 sandwich. I hope they're not $15. I have no idea what the price of
No,
Drexel
we're
is.
at like for a whole sub, like
Yeah, this is
cold
good to know.
sub, we're kind of like $9.89
Okay.
Mhm.
Sub 10 is
pre-tax. So
solid.
that's pretty.
Sub 10 is
We really
solid.
like that price point.
We talk about this a lot, actually.
Yeah, we do.
The right amount of meat quality, because our competitors. Couple of things on that. JRECK is like in general, like kind of a light sub, which I like. Like you get it for lunch, like you don't have a stomach ache, like stuff like that, which is helpful. But we kind of look at it like we have like a passionate following that loves our subs. So what we've done is we kept our meat the same that it's always been this whole time. And we just don't do much of an upcharge for double meat. So if you want double meat, it's like a couple bucks. It varies
I'm
per
in.
store, but it's
So
like
it's
I'm a
there
double
for
meat
you
guy.
if you want it.
I'm a
it's
double.
there,
and
so
it's not-
three
it's a
bucks
sell.
for
Yeah.
$4 for double meat.
for double, which kind of then raises the price points like our competitor because we're under, because we don't want to raise it because everyone doesn't want it, but
Don't want to
anyone
assume
who
whoever
wants
wants
it.
it. Sure.
Also, we put more meat. We lay our meat flat on the sub, so we're not that far away from like a Jersey Mike's. It just visibly it looks like less because of the way it sits on the roll. If that makes sense.
That's really good. So John
Mhm.
Clifford, I shouldn't have probably called him out, but he was like, you know what? It's the meat. And I was like, but did you double it? I got to go back to him now and say, you got to double it for the $2 or $3 because it's worth it.
Double's an option.
Yeah. Keeps it in the price point.
Yeah.
I'm a big double. That would be one of those guys.
That's what I
like the
do.
double
I
meat.
mean, for my own subs, I
Yeah.
double meat.
And
Double
that was
meat it.
my question I came up with. Thanks for the segue. How often do you eat direct subs? Do you feel like you eat it every day, or do you feel like I want to do anything but direct subs when I eat?
I feel
Where are
like
you
the
on this scale?
first I ate it. Jake still eats it every day. I probably
You really live and breathe this franchise.
I
or
ate it
this whole
every day
company.
for
I
a
like
year
it.
and a half.
yeah.
And now I do like 4 subs a week.
Yeah,
But again, like Jake said,
I mean,
there
4 subs a week is
it's still pretty
living
reasonable.
and breathing the company. Yeah, that's pretty
that's
good.
still yeah.
I would say I do 4. I've been trying to eat less. We have wraps, so I've been doing more wraps lately.
Okay.
But I probably like for the past 3 years, I've probably had like 4 to 5 subs, which
I'm a fan.
That's strong. Well, you got to
pretty impressive, not to brag. Or
You
anything,
got to
but
believe
yeah,
it. And you are.
yeah. I
So, yeah, give me the direct subs lineup. Like, all right, you got wraps. Do we have what else we got on the line here? We got chips and all that. Like, what am I looking at here when I'm walking through the store?
Yes, so we have fryers too. So we have a lot of fried offerings, which
Well,
is
that
Oh,
is
did not
quite
see
the
that coming
angle.
from a sub shop.
Quite
Yeah.
the
was that?
angle.
Is coming
that's a
from
big
Clearly, we did our
differentiator.
research.
Yeah.
Wes. We did.
So we have fries. We have fried cheese curd, which is a big hit up here.
That changes everything.
That does change it.
Mozzarella sticks. I mean, we have
do buffalo
lot of-
chicken, breaded mushroom.
fried chicken.
Oh, the fried buffalo fried. Oh man,
Um,
when are you guys coming to Rome?
I think this is a big.
Hopefully
I think
within
it's
the
big
year.
angle.
Right,
We
Jake?
gotta market this
I think
better.
there's something going on here.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's something going on.
I just feel like you concede when you go to a sub shop that you're going to get, at best, sour cream and onion chips. Like, that's your best possible side. Because that's all it is. But the fryer changes everything. That's a game
You
changer.
know, some of the people that do, I think, not a connoisseur of this, but some of the favorite subs I get are like in grocery stores, like Publix. When you go down south,
Mhm.
great sub. You know, we don't have a Wegmans around here, but I don't have time. I don't want to go in and like it just takes longer. I end up buying other stuff that I really don't need. And I like the play. I don't know many sub shops that are bringing that angle.
I don't know.
I can't think of
one.
any.
Yeah, it's probably our biggest thing that separates us from our competitors. But what happens, because we got, there's like numbers, you can track foot traffic and stuff like that, everyone's location now. Our lunch business is about like even with the Jersey Mike's, but our dinner is much busier because we're kind of thought of with like a French fry, stuff like that. So that's like where we
Now we're
really
getting into this
now
stuff here.
we might have to flip the podcast.
Yeah, we
This
might
is
have to
we want
some
to make
edit.
sure everybody gets to this part.
Yeah. Well, this makes a whole lot of sense.
Yeah, that's like really where we stand out. It's like we do the lunch crowd the same as the competitors, and then our dinner is much busier just with the fryers and everything.
Okay. All right. Now, we have the marketing guru here, too.
We should have had
So
marketing
we've got
cam.
a new logo with the bus, or a refreshed logo. Do we have a slogan for direct subs?
Yeah, our tagline.
You don't like?
No, we have a couple taglines. So I was like, I don't know which one to go. Our official tagline is "It's how you spell delicious," and the reason for that is because as we go to new areas, the name's like a little funky, so they wanted to do a play off the name.
Delicious
like
is a tough word to spell.
Yeah, we
But apparently it's just
There's some
Correct.
talk, some chatter on the corporate team of maybe get on the bus.
get on the
Ooh.
bus. I like.
I like that. I like that.
It's a little
What
edgy.
team are we on?
Yeah,
With
But
that?
see, I
it's
don't
how
want to
you
offend
it's how
anyone.
you
If anyone
spe-
really liked this, how we spell delicious one, then I don't want to upset them. But I like the get on the bus.
this is the right crowd for that. We appreciate it.
No,
yeah, it's
or-
like
We
just
might have
do
to
it,
cut
you
this.
know?
We're
Get on the
spitballing
bus.
here, but
There's
Yeah.
I think there's.
We
I
could,
mean,
yeah. If the thing you don't like, we can.
no, we don't have to.
How about we got fryers, bitch?
I
Wait,
like that.
College crowd.
Yeah.
College
Yeah.
crowd. What was that? How you
That's
doing on your geo-targeting to college crowds? We might have changed the marketing.
Best
there.
12 inches in town.
Nah, see, now we're getting.
Nah,
into it.
we're
Yeah,
doing
that's
it.
a little
And that's
too.
not even the whiskey talking. That's just
Ah.
straight genius.
I kind of like that one. A great T-shirt, at least.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no reason why you can't have multiple. I mean, but I do like. Sorry, get on the bus. Get on the bus.
Get on the bus.
Get on the bus. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm voting for that one.
That's number one. Unless again,
Any
I don't
other
see- yeah,
options
Yeah,
we can
where
vote
are
on?
we? Where's our?
I
where's
don't
our
really
tally?
have a say in this. I'm
we
just,
use
We need to
on,
make a whiteboard.
on a roll, so it's like get it.
On a roll,
On a
bus,
roll.
and
Yeah.
stuff. Yep.
Yeah. That's our other one. Is there any other ones?
Am I a dork
Those
that
are
went
the
to
three.
honor roll?
On a roll.
On a roll.
No,
Yeah,
I'm
mm.
sorry. I'm
I
sorry.
grown.
That's
mm.
that's bad.
No, that was fine.
I
That's
liked
bad.
it.
I didn't.
I like it on the bus.
I like that too. Executive
It's
decision.
memorable.
We get a vote. Traveling vote.
Yeah, I
And it
think
has
it's
really
done.
nothing to
The
do with it
decision is made.
besides the logo and stuff. But it's still
There's a lot of
works.
play though. There's a lot of marketing opportunity there.
Yeah.
Commercial wise, I mean, this. Yeah, marketing team would have. That's an easy one. She's like, yeah.
Yeah.
She's like, that's easier.
Wow, I like it.
Nice.
We just accomplished a lot right now. Take that.
All right, here's a question for you. I don't know the answer.
It's usually why you ask a question.
A
Wes.
lot. Oh, you know what? Not if you're a lawyer. You know that phrase,
Yeah,
right?
you're right.
Okay, a lot of places, from the fast foods to sub places, have all started to embrace breakfast because, hey, we're already paying the lease, we're already paying the mortgage.
Extend those hours.
Why not extend those hours? Any breakfast currently, or any plans for it, or have you entertained it? Oh, I gave him a tough
Actually,
one.
This is
No,
secret
this-
information.
Interesting. I think one of our stores actually does a breakfast offering. So they bring in
little test.
obviously you got a great soft roll, but they bring in eggs, and I think they do them on
Flat
the
top.
flat top. And we already have bacon, sausage, so they're whipping up
So you have to bring any
some
we'll
bacon,
have
egg, and
extra
cheeses.
stuff, yeah.
For me, I mean, speaking from the franchisee seat, I just don't see that. I mean, operationally, or bringing in labor early. We're already open from. I have people getting there at 8:30 in the morning, leaving at 9:30 to 10. I just don't.
A whole
I
other
don't
wave
see-
of workers might be
Yeah,
worth the
which
squeeze at this point, right?
Yeah, not saying that's a reason not to do it, but I just don't see the sales volume supporting that business decision. I don't know, Jake. You have any ideas on that?
What are your normal hours? Like what open hours? Like what?
Yeah, not for prep, but actually you can walk in and buy. What are your
10 to 9 p.m.
10 to
Oh.
9?
10 a.m.
That's-
to
that's a good-
9 p.m.
It's a good whack name.
Mhm.
Okay.
So
What do you
breakfast from
think
the
on
corporate
breakfast,
side.
man? I'm curious to hear your thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, kind of like what he said. It's just adding another element to the operations. It's like, I think there's like do what you do and do it well kind of thing.
Mhm.
Don't try to be everything to anyone. So some of that. And I also think just because one of our stores does it, breakfast is a high volume, kind of low margin. So
Especially with the cost of eggs these days.
yeah, yeah. So we would have to do
Eggflation.
a lot of customers. It's like a sub chain to make money on breakfast with how labor is and all that today.
Sure.
So that's kind of, but
So on that note, breakfast is a great example. But if there was something that you thought at the corporate office, this might work for our franchisees, would you ever test one out at one or two where you think it would work the best and roll it out there, try it out? And
Test kitchen.
And if it caught on, you'd be like, all right, you got numbers to prove that it works. I'm in. I'll try it too. Have you ever done that, or any plans of doing something like that? It doesn't have to be breakfast per se, but Anything in general? Have you ever rolled out like that?
Yeah, we do that all the time.
Mhm.
We have a product committee, which is made up of a select group of franchisees. And we have meetings and we present different products. Like this is how we got wraps, for instance, all the time. And we're always kind of, we're doing limited time offerings, things like that. So these all run through their committees and the franchisees like very much have a vote on what goes on. And then from this committee, we would test it. We have a corporate store, or maybe a franchisee's like really interested, test it there and kind of look at the numbers and then roll it out if it makes sense at the rest of the stores.
I think the big thing we're working right now is that pickup window that I mentioned earlier. I think
I
that's
like
going to
that.
be a real driver for customer count. So
Especially when the
Jake
kids in
and
the car,
I and
you know?
the rest of the team are working really closely to figure out how to just really nail this thing and execute. So
It is a big difference. I'm trying
Yeah.
to think of all the kind of sub shops around. Drive through isn't really a thing, nor fryers.
No,
I can't get over the fryer.
I mean,
the fryers are great, but this is where, we're talking about the pickup window. We have everything's made to order. So you come in, you order mozzarella sticks, an order of fries, a couple subs. Figuring out how to integrate that operationally with the pickup window is gonna
park
take.
them. Park them for a
that's
minute.
What I'm
Yeah.
saying. It's like,
Yeah.
I feel like you almost need spots.
Yeah.
Not a window.
Gotta park them.
Plus,
Yeah.
it's cheaper because you can turn any spot into put a little sign up.
And
you
codes
know,
wise, it's easier.
Codes wise, it's easier.
than
Yeah, it seems
getting a
like
drive-through.
lot of- Do you have any
sometimes.
spots that you can just
Codes.
park in?
Codes.
Yeah, a lot of gotta love that. Do you have that already, where you can just order and sit in your car and have it come out, or since you don't have the window yet? Or?
Not yet. So the location I just opened in Liverpool, it used to be an Indian restaurant. I fitted out for JRECK, but I put a pickup window in there, and as we figure out how to execute on it.
I think more and more people are getting used to the, even at grocery stores, just pull in, call, get your order type deal. I feel like that's becoming more, especially the COVID. COVID kicked that off really. Because the window is tough because you only have one way to go. So if somebody puts in you got a van full of kids with a long order, and I'm sitting behind you with hey, I want my one. I almost wonder if that's easier to put 1 through 5 on your parking spot and just run it.
Yeah.
Because it keeps the flow. There's no flow there restriction, and I could be speaking out of my ass right now. I have no idea what you guys have done, but I'm just thinking like especially with the geolocating, you already know they're there. You just and if they have their car information in the app with it, hey, now you're here. We just run it out and
Yeah, we'll have
bang.
to look into that. You guys would be great franchisees.
Yeah.
Where do I apply?
we like to sit in the background and just say, yeah, that sounds like a good idea.
Yeah.
Give me that number.
And a couple more of these. Wait till you see how smart we get.
We're light right now, so we're the best ideas haven't come out yet. But no, that's just a thought.
Yeah, and it's not a drive-through too, so it's just a pickup window. So you have to
Right.
order online
Different.
and pick it up. And that's because like we're so customizable. This is why like if you get a Big Mac in general, you just order a Big Mac and you just take it how it comes. Whereas we're like roast beef, lettuce, cheese, all custom. So a customizable because then that'll happen with the queuing. If that makes sense.
Queuing, I like it.
Mm.
For franchisees, are there territories or just safe zones around where everyone else is? Like, do you have any claim to any particular spot? Or if someone wanted to come in, just like, yo, you just got to stay this far away from our buddy's store.
Yeah, so I have a separate franchise agreement for each location, and I think each agreement spells out like I think I have a 2.5 mile radius that's protected. That's my area.
Those are rookie numbers.
But I'm
Gotta
working
bulk that up.
close. That's what I was saying.
You got to
I-
renegotiate here.
you gotta
yeah.
protect your walls there.
They're going
I
to be fighting
think
my
I-
end of this.
I
Never
love
speak
it.
again.
I love it.
Yeah.
We'll have it behind
We'll
the
have
scenes. of them
to
walking
we'll
out.
have to talk off air about that.
Putting heat on you, Jake.
But yeah, that's something Jake and I have been talking about recently is, hey, can I sign an area deal and lock in all these territories, and I'll go out and open 2-3 stores for you over the next X amount of time, 2-3 years. So I think maybe
Right, you
maybe
get- you get a
could-
window
He's
to do that.
publicly
It-
negotiating
yeah.
with the
I like
corporate
this.
team right now
Yeah.
on a podcast.
This is I like this.
Let's get into
This
it.
is
I like
courageous.
this was a great question,
That was it.
man.
That is how it works. So you would buy a territory, which
Okay.
we would discuss, and it's different. There's bigger. There's like if you're in New York City, you get a tiny area. Not that we're in New York City.
Sure,
but
right.
just
Yeah,
It
volume
changes
basis,
depending on
yeah, depending on the
population density.
Yes,
Sure.
exactly. So that's in general how it works.
There's a few I'd like to lock up on air.
Oh,
Can we get this on the
You're
record?
good on the record? Yeah, we can send you a copy.
we'll
It's a legal binding document.
So it's great though that your enthusiasm for the you're having a great time. Seems like you're doing well. If you're that excited about locking up things, whether jovially or not. I mean, seems like you're really crushing it.
Yeah, I'm fired up. I mean, my goal, I'm shooting to get to 10 stores. So
Did you
that,
tell your fiance this?
Yeah, she's on board.
Or is she just listening now?
When she's in a good mood.
She's
And my wife
incredible.
learns about my business deals usually like a month after. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sort of stuff.
You
check
get me
off
in
and-
trouble regularly. Oh, you didn't know
Like,
about
Brad,
that
you're coming
one?
over? Okay, don't say this, or this. Because I haven't really
Damn it.
broken the news yet.
God.
Took her a
Um,
minute. She's fully on board. It took her a minute, but
Okay.
she is.
She believes in you.
She believes in it, and
Do you just shore
She-
the cap and be like, this is what we're gonna be making from each store, and like actually,
sometimes I think
do you
we're
guys
growing pretty quickly. So she's like, "Where's the cash?" But we'll get there.
Well, you're reinvesting. You teach her reinvesting.
Exactly.
Wives, just
This is
trust
great
the
if she's
process.
listening to this.
Is she involved in the stores at all or no? Or she do her own thing?
Definitely emotionally. Full.
Okay.
And
Good
she-
answer.
Good answer.
Well, I gotta
Yeah.
use that
He's
one.
been
Yeah.
prepped.
You can use that
He's
one.
been
Spence.
prepped.
Totally using that.
Good one.
Is there
Um,
a published cap that you like? Are you trying to for like people getting into it? Like, do you have? Is there like a cap goal that you can expect a return, or you've done this long enough where you can say, hey, if you open the store and follow our process, you're gonna make X? Is that
So there's actually a lot of like strict rules with New York State that we cannot make
I did
Any
not know
predictions?
this.
financial predictions because then if you don't, we're liable and things like that.
So what? I wanted to pause long enough so I could cut this. So like when like Starbucks puts their oh wait, that wasn't on the Starbucks deal.
They're a public, so they're all corporate owned. Most of the Starbucks are corporate owned.
learning
They're
a
not
lot.
franchisee.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yes, like
But
most all
it,
corp-
and it's
yeah.
not so we can post financials of a franchisee and show you what they make on their income statement. We just can't verbally be like, well, you should make around this.
Yeah,
If
without
this
the
makes
fine
sense.
print saying, oh, you
Yeah.
could lose all your investment.
Yeah, yeah.
I
I
would say,
really-
I mean, just from the franchisee perspective, we're doing about like 12% net operating margin. That's after owner's comp.
Wow, that's great.
Oh, that's solid.
That's outrageous.
So
Wes, you getting more interested by the second year?
Where do I sign?
pretty good.
You take IOUs? No. So let me see if I can really cause family strife here.
Oh
So
boy.
Spence is hot. He's got 3, 4, 5 stores. He's cooking. At what point does corporate say, why aren't we opening our own stores?
We are opening our own stores. We have a corporate store in Watertown, which we purchased a year ago in September.
Okay.
That's why you wanted the 2.5 miles.
Yes.
Getting a little too close to
Yeah.
some competition.
Yeah, maybe we'll see the territory.
You guys
yeah.
are they're popping some up in Syracuse too.
We're
Alright.
looking to do one in East Syracuse. We don't have a location locked up, but that's our
Spence.
next step.
Don't let it happen.
No, I'm
You
all
gotta
for
lock
it.
that
I mean,
down.
I think there's
Need some investors? We'll help you out.
there's plenty of areas to hit in the greater Syracuse market, and I
Syracuse is
think
big. Yeah.
like
Yeah.
market penetration too, like really.
That's
coming
a good
out with a
point, right?
bang
You get
and,
some
like-
synergy. You see more
Yeah.
Drex. It gets the
I'm
brand
letting it
out
rip.
there.
These guys are letting it rip, and
Yeah.
hey, we have we want to be able to service everyone in the greater Syracuse area. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm happy about it. I mean, there's a couple territories we'll have to talk about
You
off
have to
air.
negotiate.
Yeah.
Over Thanksgiving dinner.
Yep.
Just throw them a percentage. That's the way to negotiate it. Hey, if I'm going to within this territory, here's a couple percent of my margin just so things are kosher.
That
Yeah.
would be perfect.
Now we're
Wow.
talking.
Wow.
We're
When
really
was
we're
that?
really getting into it.
Wow. We need this. Wes.
I tried to throw him off the rails, and you brought it right
I
back
brought
on.
right
That
back.
was-
I'm
that
trying
was
to
nice. Everyone's
I'm trying to
doing a
bring
great job.
family together. That's what I'm here for.
All right, so looking into the future, the JRECK subs brand seems to be growing great right now. Where do you see JRECK in 5, 10 years, 20 years? Where do you want your footprints? Are you going big? Are you going up?
Yeah,
Let me
we
hit Brad in the
hope
face with my
so.
glass.
You
here,
know,
we
George?
always, why
Is it
not
right to the
us?
temple? I mean, we going out to Albany? Or where are we going here?
Definitely out to Albany. We always, I think I mentioned this earlier, but to repopulate the towns where JRECK previously was, it's kind of our short-term 3-year goal, 1 to 3 year goal. And then from there up and down the East Coast, hopefully. Like we love Charlotte, North Carolina, Sarasota.
Yeah.
There's a lot of upstate people in these
What
places.
was the peak
You're right,
store count before it kind of
77, around 77, which is crazy.
And currently it is
23.
Okay. Do you have all the financials from the old ones so you can be like, all right, we got to get back into there first?
We do not have anything from the old ones.
Oh.
What happened?
Well, it underwent new ownership about 4 years ago. So the previous owner, didn't end up working out.
Let's see. Let everyone hang on that for a
Let
second.
that one's marinate.
Wow.
I don't know. What would you say?
Any follow up to that? I want more.
Yeah, I mean,
I want more. I have no
come on,
question
you
to
can
ask.
just build
I feel like
Well,
that's like,
it's
I feel
all
like
Was there a
online.
large fire?
it's
or-
like having a
It's all
playbook.
online. The old owner ended up getting into some legal issues.
Okay.
So the company was actually seized by the U.S. Marshals and then put up for auction. So that's how our new ownership group ended up with it.
Got it.
Oh,
Fun.
I feel like that's such a playbook that you just want to get your hands on.
This
those
is
old
great.
I
financials.
This
know.
is fun. Yeah.
Wow.
There's so many good spots.
Well, if you guys
Like,
need
I'm
any counseling, just let us know. We'll sit here
for
and we'll put it on
sure.
air.
I gotta
We can-
grab your cell
we
phone
can make
numbers
it.
after
We can make
this.
it work for each, but we'll pay someone on the side to make it better for you. Just let us know. We got to wrap this thing up a little bit because I know you got stuff to do. These guys, we're just boring them now. But
No,
This has
You
been
think this is
great.
good?
this is the
Thanks
most
for
fun I've had
having
in a
us.
while. Yeah.
well, I do love the sandwich. I agree with the soft roll. I don't know if I appreciate
That's
that.
great.
I'm gonna rock the double meat. I know that's definitely
your
that's
go-to?
gonna be my order.
Well, can we get the most popular sub?
Oh,
We
yeah.
need to know what the most popular choice is when you walk in. You'd probably,
It's at
least for you, for your
it's
stores.
it's a straight up pretty basic but
fine.
classic, just a turkey
Turkey?
sub.
Why? Why
Yep.
go anywhere else?
That would be mine.
It's number one.
Just so I know you're gonna make your journey over to Crust. Negotiator would be that's the number one selling sandwich.
Like 2 to 1 over
Like 2 to
anything
1
else.
over
So
anything else.
negotiator, if you want a good slice of crust, is
Like
probably a
it's
go.
that's like I experienced Crust sandwich, but good salads and everything else. But just a quick plug for them. But this is great. I love what you guys are doing. I love the revive. I think that's kind of cool when you just kind of had someone that died and able to revive it and grow. And I love the dynamic here and what you guys are doing. I really hope we see one soon.
Yeah.
What's the timeline? Do we have a timeline on that? Like, when am I gonna finally put in an order and get my double meat with a little bit? Great. I love the spice on the pepper relish there. But
Jake?
what are we thinking?
Jake?
it depends
Jake.
how fast our franchisee wants to sign up.
Is he looking at you?
if no one
We're
steps up
looking
to the
for what?
plate and I get that area manager going in the next year, I'll come down
It's
here
not
for
that
with
hard.
you guys.
It's not that hard going from Syracuse to Rome. That's
Can,
No.
can you guys just look in that camera and say, Lauren, is it okay if Wes starts a JRECK sub in Rome? Can you do that for me?
Yeah, Lauren, we'd like to have Wes on the team to open a JRECK sub. So
All right, that counts, right? So I'm
Yeah.
off the hook.
You already
Everyone.
told her she just has to watch it
Yeah.
now. Don't tell her.
Right.
She's
So that's
gotta
on her
watch
for
the-
not supporting and watching.
She's got to watch the whole episode
See,
in order to get
we
that
already told you.
information.
In fact, Spencer did.
I mean, multiple people did.
Yeah.
Just let it happen. Yeah, I love it, and I thank you guys for coming on and sharing this. And hopefully we can have you back too. I love to hear about the progress and anything we can do too to if you need help on any side, whether it's information on Utica Rome area, we know it really well. We can take you for a tour and kind of figure something out. But we're here to support our community here, and we'd love for you to support it as well.
And
Yeah.
we need to bring Wes on the show at some point.
yes, he would have been squawking the whole time, just crying. But yeah, no,
She
I
managed the
appreciate you
product,
guys
didn't
having us out. This has
Yeah.
been great, and I'll have to grab your numbers after this. We can
Absolutely.
talk real estate too.
All
Oh,
right.
I
Yeah.
love the play. Well, thanks guys. Cheers. And,
Thanks, cheers.
Cheers. Thanks so
To,
much.
to your
guys.
great
This was
success
awesome.
and
Yeah, congrats.
Thanks for the
Looks like
food.
you're doing great
Appreciate
things.
it.
Good job.
Thanks, guys.